Yo, 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 and we are live. What's up, YouTube? We back once again. Another live review today. And today I'm going to be covering a topic. It's actually something, it's going back to the basics. So I know I covered a couple days ago Trump getting arrested. So I wanted to definitely, I kind of expressed my thoughts, and my thoughts were necessarily the United States should be more concerned about, other countries shopping the US dollar rather than making a big media outburst that he is technically getting arrested, this, that, and the third, right? But it kind of led me to having a discussion on Twitter to where um a lot of people don't even know what his actual charges are or what he's actually facing. So I thought, we go ahead and review the Vox's the Trump investigations you should actually care about, right? Now Vox, they are a little, sometimes right wingish, but they are some people who I definitely vouch for. So let's check it out. It's called the Trump investigation you should actually care about. Hopefully
going into an office, working 50 hours a week, having that structure.
On Tuesday, April 4th, 2023, Donald Trump entered a Manhattan courtroom and pled not guilty to 34 crimes. It's one step in a long process that will likely lead to the first criminal trial of a former US president.
Trump acted in unprecedented ways, and now there is an unprecedented response to how he acted.
Trump lost the 2020 election and left office in January of 2021. And since then, lawyers have been gathering evidence in 4 separate criminal investigations. They are trying to figure out if Trump broke the law, and if he did, what to do about it.
Here's what I'll say too. I don't really think the I really think the Democrats, and not saying that I'm pro Trump or anything like that, but I really think that for the most part the Democrats are kind of mad that Trump has won the popular vote, and even that Trump even won being president the first time, right? But what I will say is that I really feel like the Democrats are just being bitter and trying to find anything that will stick to him. Because the Democrat, and also like overall as a country, it just makes us look stupid and weak as a country. I was saying in my video where I was covering how Saudi is trying to drop the US dollar when it comes to trading, I think, oil. It just makes us look stupid and weak trying to prosecute or make a big uproar about a former president being arrested. Let's continue.
To understand these 4 different cases, you need to know a little bit about how criminal investigations in the US work. In the first phase, investigators gather evidence. They might interview witnesses, review surveillance footage, comb over financial records, or review texts and emails. They show that evidence to a randomly selected group of citizens called a grand jury. The grand jury's job isn't to decide if anyone is innocent or guilty. They just listen to the evidence and basically decide if it makes sense. If 12 of them think it does, they'll issue an indictment. Only then can the prosecutor file charges. The accused can plead guilty, in which case the whole thing goes straight to sentencing. If they plead not guilty, then the case goes to trial, and a jury hears the evidence and has to come to a unanimous decision one way or the other. Obviously, a simplification, and there's a ton of variations in different states and jurisdictions, but that's the gist. So, where do things stand with those 4 Trump investigations? Let's start with the hush money. The state of New York has officially charged Trump with falsifying business records in the first degree. In its statement of facts, the prosecutors write that he repeatedly and fraudulently falsified New York business records to conceal criminal conduct that hid damaging information from the voting public during the 2016 presidential election. This bank statement from Trump's former lawyer, Michael Cohen, shows that he withdrew funds in October of 2016. He then used that money to pay an adult film actress to stay quiet about an affair that she said she'd had with Donald Trump a few years earlier. A year later, after Trump had won the presidency, he wrote several checks to reimburse Cohen. In his accounting records, Trump designated these as payments for legal services, which isn't exactly accurate. This is some of the evidence that led to Trump's recent indictment and his not guilty plea.
In order to convict Trump of a felony, the district attorney Alvin Bragg, he has to prove not just that he falsified these records in order to cover up the payments, but he has to prove that he did so in order to advance or cover up some other crime. But I think that these particular allegations against Trump are pretty far afield of the really serious allegations that justify going after a former president. You know, the allegations that he tried to steal an election.
In Georgia, the votes are still being counted.
CNN has just projected President-elect Biden the winner in Georgia.
I believe that the numbers that we have presented today are correct.
I want to know a secret. So, what a lot of people don't know is, now there were fraudulent things going on both ends. So a lot of you guys, so if you guys have been watching this channel for a while, a lot of you guys know I'm in the tech space, right? So, and I'm an IT major at UWF, University of West Florida, right? So as I've been traveling back and forth, networking and broadening my niche, all over the country, I've actually ran into some, I'm not going to say their names, but I've ran into some actual ethical hackers, some real life hackers, like the people who really like do what it do. And you know what they told me? You know, they told me verbatim. They were like, both the Trump administration and both the Biden administration were hiring hackers to forge the voting results. And I remember it was a big incident how they were saying in Atlanta they were trying to get Trump on voter fraud, and a lot of those ballots were I think it was necessarily not real, but I think it's very interesting. I've had a couple of people who've told me that they were given some money to create fake ballots and fake votes when it comes to hacking the systems and whatnot. So I really thought, that feedback was really unnecessary. There was a lot of money that was going around on both sides from the Democrats and Republican when it comes to faking votes and whatnot. That's all I'm going to say on that.
Correct.
There is a phone call between Donald Trump and Brad Raffensperger, the Secretary of State of Georgia, the top elections official in Georgia.
The people of Georgia are angry. The people of the country are angry. And there's nothing wrong with saying that, that you've recalculated. You should want to have an accurate election. And you're a Republican.
We believe that we do have an accurate election.
No, I know you don't. No, you don't. You don't have. Not even close. Look, all I want to do is this. I just want to find 11,780 votes.
If they magically came up with 11,780 Trump votes that didn't actually exist, that would have been enough to steal the election in Georgia.
A special grand jury in Georgia has heard the evidence and recommended multiple indictments. But we don't.
Now what I will say is the same treatment that they do they are giving Trump for having fraudulent votes. They need to do the same thing to the Biden administration because both are doing it. And that's a fact.
Don't know yet if District Attorney Fani Willis is going to take things further. The Georgia team isn't the only one trying to figure out if Trump's behavior after the election broke any laws. Federal Special Counsel Jack Smith's team is looking into similar questions.
There's been a lot of attention on this question of fake electors.
The state's electors cast their votes for whoever won the most votes in their state.
If Biden wins the state, then Biden's electors win the state, and he gets that many electoral votes. The Trump team in key swing states, they tried to assemble slates of alternative electors, even though Biden won the state.
They were asking me to facilitate having the electors meet and sign some sort of document. These people were going to, in violation of the lockdown, sneak in and stay overnight, and then allegedly kind of cast their vote in the Michigan Capitol.
Security wouldn't let them in, so they signed the document in the basement of the state's Republican headquarters, then sent it off to DC. Trump's team led similar efforts in 6 other states where Biden won. A grand jury in DC has been hearing evidence in this case for months, but they haven't voted yet.
But we appear to be in the closing stages of this.
The same special prosecutor is also looking into a 4th case against Trump.
Unprecedented FBI search to home of former President Trump's
Mar-a-Lago
has been raided by the FBI.
This inventory list from the raid shows that they found dozens of documents labeled classified, confidential, and top secret.
There's a Washington Post report last year that some of this involved nuclear documents. There has been some reporting that some of these related to intelligence that could have exposed certain U.S. informants or sources, and that basically the intelligence community did consider this really important stuff that should not have been hanging out at Mar-a-Lago.
Right now, a grand jury in DC is still hearing all this evidence. As president, Donald Trump didn't just say outrageous things. He acted in ways that no president ever had before. Now that he's no longer in office, it's time to figure out if any of that unprecedented behavior was also illegal. And if it was, what to do about it.
Now, what I will say is that a lot of these charges that we're listening to the video, I think, are the ones that people should pay more attention to, rather than trying to put him in jail for paying for a one night stand with Stormy Daniels. But what I will say on the other hand is Trump is not the only politician who did these alleged things. Now as far as hiding the documents at his house, I mean, that's a little you on his own. I can't really defend him on that. But what I will say is that for years and years and years, both sides, Democrat and Republican, have been doing fraudulent things and illegal things. I really think just with Trump got caught outside of the traditional circle that knows what usually goes on in these tight circles and whatnot. But this is my review of the Trump investigations that you should really care about. Personally, I don't think Trump is going to do any jail time or anything. I really think it's going to be all these cases. If anything, he'll probably be hit with a fine. Even if he were to go to jail, this would just make us look dumber and dumber and dumber and dumber and dumber. Why? Because it would make us look a lot dumber, because I mean, for one, this is somebody who led the country at a point in time, and at a point in time to where a lot of countries are starting to lose faith in the United States over, what we're doing for Ukraine, or just because of how they feel as us as a superpower in general. It makes us look weak to a point where Saudis and other countries, they don't respect us. And if anything, if you've been paying attention to the news, a lot of these countries are kind of basically, China's really kind of gearing up countries to kind of take over our number one spots, which won't happen over time, but it will definitely happen within the next 30 years or so. But hope you guys like this reaction video. Like, subscribe, and share. Peace.